where, rather, interpreter's correction, I do not know whether the accused also was sometimes placed in a position where Müller went over his head. In many matters of more or less considerable significance, Müller left discretion and decision for himself. This would sometimes even happen in routine propositions, which had no outstanding significance. This would repeatedly disrupt the orderly functioning of the service, and other division heads also complained about it repeatedly. I have also had the experience that he himself was not particularly delighted to make decisions, but rather, whenever there were cases which exceeded the routine functioning of the service, he would apply systematically to his superiors and would obtain instructions from them. With regard to authorities which were his superiors, he was cautious to the point of exaggeration. One could even speak about anxiety and fearfulness in this respect, lack of courage. As a result of this conduct on his part, it was evident that he would be quite rough with the people who were his subordinates. Until I learned about these peculiarities of his, it would sometimes happen that he would also reprimand me in cases where I took the liberty of making my own decisions. The reprimand consisted of his taking me to task for having made my own decision. It was not that he cared about the nature of the decision I made. I do not know whether and to what extent such attitude prevailed also with regard to the department of the accused. There were general complaints about this, but I do not recall whether the accused made similar complaints. Correction by President of Court, I cannot recall that the accused ever complained about any such thing. It would also happen frequently that Müller would not accept without any argument decisions taken by his subordinates, but would rather make changes in these decisions, or else would insist that further instructions be received from his superiors. And then further down on page 10, in reply to question 14, if I said in my affidavit, which is document 874 on page 6, that in addition to his department, the accused also had an office in Prague, then all I can say about this today, all I can recall about it today, is that he frequently traveled to Prague on business. I cannot say whether the accused had a special office in Prague simultaneously with his department in the head office of Reich Security, or whether his administration of that office was merely a provisional affair. I no longer remember whether this Prague office was the central office for Jewish immigrants or what else. I do know that there existed such a central office, and I also do know that the accused would travel quite frequently. But I do not know anything as to whether his journeys were connected with any functions in another office which was outside of Berlin. Now on page 11. I was no closer than the accused to him, and in the course of, I'm sorry, interpreter's correction. I was not particularly close to the accused, and in the course of our work there was no especially close contact between us. The only occasion which I recall of any close contact between us was in the course of a common journey, which, as far as I recall, was to Prague. Unless memory fails me, this was when we traveled to take part in Heydrich's funeral. I traveled with the accused in his official automobile because I had no office car at my own disposal. President of Court, is that all? President of Court, continuing, we shall now come to Von Thadden's testimony. I mark it with the Roman numeral 3.
דוקטור סבציוס, מה אדוני רוצה להדגיש מתוך...
President of Court, Dr. Savatius, which passages would you like to single out from this testimony?
Das ist das Protokoll vom 18. Mai 51 Amtsgericht Neuss.
It is a court record from the 18th of May 1951 in the district court at Neuss.
Seite 4, letzter Satz.
Defense regards as particularly significant, among other passages, at the end of page 4.
Meiner Tätigkeit beim Sonderbeauftragten für Wirtschaftsfragen gehört.
I have never heard anything about any visit by Eichmann to Athens in the course of my activity in the office of the Special Plenipotentiary for Economic Affairs. Now page 7, last paragraph.
Über die Entscheidungsbefugnis des Angeklagten kann ich keine Angaben machen. Mir ist kein Fall erinnerlich. Bis unten von dessen Vorgesetzten Müller unterschrieben waren.
It is the page, it's page 7, last paragraph, starting with the words, I quote, I can say nothing about the power of decision which the accused had, and I do not remember a single case, and so on, until the last sentence in this passage, ending with the words, however, Müller was always signed such letters. Then page 8, last sentence.
Die Behandlung von Juden ausgingen, war für mich nicht erkennbar, bis Ende des Absatzes auf der nächsten Seite von ihm ausgegangen wäre.
It is the last passage on page 8, starting with the first sentence. I could not say who was the source for regulations of principle about the treatment of Jews, and until the end of this passage, which is on page 9, the words, I would not assume that he was the origin of such regulations. Then page 10, it is the passage before last.
Ich habe im Zusammenhang mit der Deportation der Juden aus Ungarn die Berichte von Wesenmeier an das Auswärtige Amt zur Kenntnis bekommen. Der nächste Satz, nach diesem Bericht liegt auf der Hand, dass Wesenmeier dabei eine entscheidende Rolle gespielt hat. Bis dahin.
The first sentences of this passage before last, I quote, in connection with the deportation of Jews from Hungary, I was informed of the reports sent by Wesenmeier to the Foreign Ministry. According to those reports, it was clear that Wesenmeier had a decisive role in these matters. That is all.
Dann auf Seite 15.
That is all of this page. Then from page 15,
der dritte Absatz.
the
Ich
third
weiß, dass
paragraph,
grundsätzlich Vorhaben, die die Auswanderung von Juden nach Palästina zum Gegenstand hatten, vom Auswärtigen Amt mit Rücksicht auf die Araberpolitik verhindert wurden, bis zum Ende des Absatzes.
it is the third paragraph beginning with the sentence, I know that it was the Foreign Ministry which rejected on grounds of principle any intentions of permitting emigration to Jews to Palestine, and that was because of considerations which derive from Arab policy. And from there until the end of this passage. These are all the passages which I want to single out from Von Thadden's testimony.
Dr. למשפטים Eberhard von Thadden.
Dr. Juris Eberhard von Thadden. To the personal questions, my name is Dr. Eberhard von Thadden. I was born on the 17th of November 1909 in Berlin. I live in Büderich in the Grevenbruch district on the Leinstrasse 4. I am married. I have 2 children, a merchant by profession. And then on page 3, in the spring of 1943, I believe in the month of April, I was instructed by cable to return to Berlin and was attached to the inland group number 2. At the head of this department was the advisor of the legation, the speaker Horst Wagner. This section was subordinated to the State Secretary Steingracht, and he belonged to the Rights Ministry. In the years 43 or 44, I was promoted to be a first-class advisor to the legation. To the group number 2, and I was with this office until the breaking down of the office itself. On page 4, in the establishment, I was a worker of a section for senior officers in the Foreign Ministry. At that time,
There
were no experts in regard to Jewish affairs yet, nor were there advisors in regard to Aryanization attached to German legations abroad. There were, of course, police attachés, posts created at the time. The attachés representing the police were proposed by the head security office or the Ministry of the Interior. Which department had the jurisdiction in this matter, I cannot say. But these departments proposed the officers and appointed them after receiving the consent of the country where they had to be posted. The police attachés had to take orders from the ministry they belonged to at home. The head of the legation, according to the establishment, was in charge of the legation and in charge of the police attachés. But as far as the orders, the issuing of orders were concerned, he took orders from his office in Germany. The police attaché, in fact, received his orders directly. And as far as I know, the man who headed a political legation, a diplomatic legation, could cause that a police attaché who would not be integrated well in the legation, he could demand his removal. And then on page 5. In the department, the Inland Office, Roman letter 2, I had first and foremost an interest in continuing the contact with the German service units of the SS, that is, with service units subordinate to the Reichsführer of the SS and head of the German police. My contacts in this general framework were only with the central bureaus, and here I want to point out that the head of my department reserved the right to negotiate himself with members of those bureaus when the question concerned was people of the rank of SS Gruppenführer or Obergruppenführer, and according to the rank, the head of my department held a lower rank than that held by the SS officers now discussed. Within this framework of activity, I also had to take charge of functions actually belonging to other departments in the Foreign Ministry, but concentrated in the Department for Inland Affairs, the Roman letter 2, for the reason that the bureaus of the Reichsführer of the SS and head of the Reich Police were concerned with these actions. In the framework of my above described activity, I was also charged to keep contact with foreign German legations as well as with foreign legations within the state, and this whilst I was fulfilling my other duties. Page 6. During the period of my activities, I also learned about the size and measure of actions taken against Jews in various countries. Only as far as I was supposed to contact whilst fulfilling duties assigned to me, I penetrated and learned about the procedure followed by the group and unit in charge of Jewish affairs, and which have arisen before I came to this section. Rademacher, my predecessor, did not hand over personally the area of my jurisdiction because Rademacher at the time was already a soldier. When I took over, within the framework of the inland group, Roman letter 2, I had current contact with the accused whilst I was active within the framework of inland group number 2. During the period under discussion, I was at first, the rank I held was an advisor to the legation or an advisor to the government, Regierungsrat or Legationsrat, later an advisor of the first rate, Oberregierungsrat, and as far as I know, Eichmann held the rank of SS Obersturmbannführer, which was considered, as far as I know, and was of the same rank as Oberregierungsrat. Page 7.
I had
current contact verbally and by means of telephone with the accused or his office, Günther and Höss. Or I sometimes corresponded with his office. It seems to me quite possible, but not accepted, that there were connections between the head of a department, personal connections, with a central authority and state secretaries abroad when the head of this department stays abroad. I myself, for instance, once had a matter with the Prime Minister in Greece while I was active in Greece. In my contacts with the accused and the unit he headed, I had the privilege to decide only in negligible matters. In other matters, I had to submit the question for the decision of the head of the department concerned or to my superior. When I say I had to put the question before, I mean to the administrative channels, bringing the question in the ordinary way to the deciding authority.
בסופו של דבר בעניין. אצל הרשויות הממונות עליי המדובר
My superiors, that is the head of the department, the state secretary and the minister. I cannot say in regard to the jurisdiction held by the accused. I cannot remember not even one case where the accused decided a decision to which I can point and say that this was ultra vires to his functions as a head of a department and as I knew from my own activity and functions. But I could not always draw conclusions from the opinions voiced by the accused, whether he did decide on his own or acted as a result of directions given to him. I still remember documents relating in themselves to Eichmann's department, but bearing the signature of Miller, his superior. I remember, for instance, an order in regard to the possibility of repatriating Jews of foreign nationality, and this order was signed by Miller. This is in regard to an order issued in the form of a circular. This originated from the head security office of the Reich, directed to units subordinated to this head office and to the foreign ministry for information. I do not refer to a single case. Most of the documents which reached me from the accused department were signed by him or by one of his subordinates. I cannot remember a case where the head of my department instructed me to contact Miller in regard to affairs which were at the jurisdiction of Eichmann's department, and instructions to circumvent Eichmann's department and negotiate about them directly and behind his back. It seemed to me impossible and that because had the orders come from the higher authorities, the Secretary of State or the Ministry, then only they could have succeeded, that is, the circumventing of Eichmann in matters belonging to his department. for instance, remember the chapter of the Bondi children. In this matter, Sweden intervened and attempted to obtain an exit permit for these children. The accused's office rejected the request in spite of repeated interventions and applications. A short time before April 45, finally, the consent was given by Eichmann's department. And as far as I was impressed from this procedure, this was a decision taken by the accused as a result of an intervention by the Secretary of State of the Foreign Ministry and brought to the attention of the accused by his superior. I can remember no other instances where Eichmann was circumvented or where decisions given by him were appealed. But I do not mean to say that this was the only case. The Foreign Ministry demanded, as a matter of principle, in matters of problems regarding to the treatment of Jews of neutral nationality or hostile nationality, that the accused should be consulted. The superiority of the head office of the Reich over the Foreign Ministry was of only was quite unequivocal, and I cannot remember a case where there was any friction between the Foreign Ministry and the Reich Security Office in such matters. Page 9.
President of Court, Mr. Rosen, the official interpreter, would you please stop here? We shall take our break now. Mr. Hausner, could you perhaps shorten this procedure and follow Dr. Servatius by just quoting the beginnings of sentences, with the exception of passages which you, sir, regard as outstandingly important? Mr. Hausner, I shall try to do that, Your Honor. President of Court, we shall take a 20-minute break now.
אני מבקש שקט.
President of Court, please quiet in the hall.
We have not yet completed Von Thadden's testimony. Mr. Hausner, I skipped a number of passages from this testimony as well as from the other testimonies. My colleagues are now dealing with another testimony where we shall skip many passages we intended to quote. Page 9, the second paragraph. The requests made by the Foreign Office to grant a special permission were transferred through me to the accused's office. If the accused could decide himself in such matters, I do not know. As has already been said above, I could not know from the standing taken by his office if the decision was taken by him personally from time to time. Within the framework of my work, I also learned about affirmative decisions, that is, favorable decisions in regard to Jews taken by the accused's department. I do not know if these favorable decisions, which were unusual, were thanks to his personal intervention and decision. Eichmann expressed himself negatively in regard to granting such permission. I remember Eichmann calling a faltering of the knees the standing I took when I tried to intervene and obtain an unusual decision. His approach was cruel. And then, skipping a part, I come to page 11, the middle of the page. It is correct that I did travel on duty in the spring of '44 to Hungary. I visited at the time, by order of my office, not only the Sonderkommando Eichmann, but also other units. And this concerns units of service with which my department was concerned. The reason for my travel and journey was that my superior wished to give me a few days of peace because of the bombing of Berlin, which were increasing at the time. I drew up two reports in respect of this visit of mine. One report was sent on to the head security office of the Reich, and another report for the internal use of the foreign ministry. I expressed my opinion that the Sonderkommando Eichmann is working in Hungary according to a defined and cruel plan. I did not know how much of this plan was agreed upon by Eichmann and other authorities. I myself was shocked when Eichmann told me about the plans. Other workers of the Foreign Office were of the same opinion, that Eichmann's plan, the implementation, must be stopped at least to gain time. As far as I know, the plan was not implemented in the way Eichmann described to me at Budapest. According to the original plan, this concerned the forcible deportation of all the Jewish population in Budapest to an island on the Danube and to concentrate the Jewish population there without the necessary preparations. Now I come to page 12. When the matter of deportation of Jews from Hungary was discussed, always the East was mentioned as destination. From time to time, the name of the Auschwitz camp was mentioned.
President of Court, a small correction of the version presented by the official interpreter. I don't see the words from time to time. It has been mentioned, it says.
Mr. Hausner, this is out of Von Thadden's testimony, and we come to the testimonies from Hungary. By permission of court, President of Court.
President of Court, we have to see whether Dr. Savatius wishes to say something first about Juettner's testimony. This testimony will be marked with the Roman numeral 4. President of Court, Dr. Savatius, which passages do you wish to single out and emphasize from Juettner's testimony?
Es sind zwei Stellen.
Dr. Savatius, there are two passages.
Bad Tölz vom 15. Juni 61. Auf Seite 2 unter Römisch 1.
These are two
Zu den Behauptungen
passages.
des Angeklagten heißt es am Schluss von Ziffer 1, meine Auffassung, der Angeklagte Eichmann sei für den Fußmarsch verantwortlich, beruhte maßgeblich auf der Information Winkelmanns. Und auf Seite 3, Römisch 2, ich habe mit Winkelmann nicht darüber gesprochen, wer für die Initiative des Transports und für deren technische Durchführung verantwortlich sei. Eine Erörterung hierüber erübrigte sich, nachdem Winkelmann erklärte, er sei ausgeschaltet, aber mit der Sache nichts zu tun. Es werden Dokumente vorgelegt werden, die das etwas anders zeigen.
I'm reading from the transcript of the interrogation by the District Court Bad Tölz, B-A-D-T-O-L-Z, page 2, Roman numeral 1. It says here at the end, my conception that the accused Eichmann had been responsible for the foot march rested chiefly on information presented by Winkelmann.
תפיסתי כי הנאשם אחראי לצעדה התבססה בעיקר על ידיעות וינקלמן.
And later, from page 3, section marked with the Roman numeral 2, I have not spoken with Winkelmann about the question as to who was responsible for the initiative and the technical implementation of the transports.
ליוזמה
A discussion of this subject was superfluous
שילוח המשלוחים
after Winkelmann declared that he had been excluded from the entire affair and had nothing to do with it.
האם הסניגור המשיך לקרוא?
כן, עד סוף הפסקה הזאת.
דברי הסבר על כך היו מיותרים מאחר שווינקלמן הצהיר כי הוא נעקף וכי אין לו מגע עם עניין זה.
Interpreter's comment, this section has already been given in English. President of Court, Mr. Hausner, which passages do you wish to present here?
I have marked a passage already quoted by the defense, and the interpreter has it before him.
חקירת העד Hans Juettner.
The questioning of the witness Hans Juettner. My name is Hans Juettner. I am 67 years of age, married.
בעל בית מרפא בבת פלץ.
I run a sanatorium in Bad Tölz, Herderstrasse 1.
בעמוד 2.
And then on page 2, the first paragraph. In November 44, I traveled in the company of Obersturmbannführer Becher from Vienna to Budapest. On our way in the German territory, we met long lines of Jews, escorted by their 100 soldiers. They were moving towards Vienna. He told me, we shall meet the Standarte Eichmann. I asked him, what does that mean? Because I believed this to be a military unit. And to this, Becher explained that this is a transport of Jews from Budapest to the Austrian border. When I saw those moving columns, I went up to an SS man and a policeman, Winkelmann in Budapest, to find out who was responsible for this transport and to put forward representations. Winkelmann knew about these deportations. He expressed himself saying that he has no hand in these matters. They were Eichmann's doing. And then I asked who was Eichmann. Winkelmann explained that he was the man who headed the unit in the Reich Security Office, not subordinate to himself, that is to Winkelmann. According to Winkelmann, Eichmann is the head of this department dealing with the Jewish problem. In my opinion, Eichmann, the accused, is responsible for this march, and this is based on the information given to me by Winkelmann. Number 2. The younger officer at the time, who came to me in the name of Eichmann's unit, and to whom I voiced my representations, told me that his unit is under the jurisdiction of the secret police of the Reich Security Office. Orders are issued by this department, and that I am not at liberty to criticize. He spoke to me in a very haughty tone. I was told that Eichmann is not present and that this young officer was sent by him.
Mr. Hosner, I should like now to take up Grell's testimony. President of Court, I shall mark the Grell testimony with the Roman numeral 5. Dr. Savatius, what do you, sir, wish to single out from this testimony?
Es sind einige Stellen.
There are, Dr. Savatius, there are several passages.
Das Niederschrift vom 14. Juni, Amtsgericht Berchtesgaden.
This testimony is incorporated in the transcript of the District Court of Berchtesgaden, Berchtesgaden, 14th of June 1961. First section, page 3 in the middle.
War ich der Meinung und hatte den Eindruck, dass das Sondereinsatzkommando unter Leitung des Angeklagten ausschließlich für die technische Durchführung der Judenstransporte zuständig war. Dies habe ich auch in dem Dokument 640 der Staatsanwaltschaft zum Ausdruck gebracht. Dann weiter unten: Die Konzentration und Erfassung der Juden in Ungarn erfolgte auf Weisung des ungarischen Ministeriums durch die ungarische Gendarmerie.
It is on page 3 in the middle. I quote, "On the basis of the information I gained in the course of my duty, I had the impression, and it was my knowledge, that the Special Einsatzkommando led by the accused was exclusively in charge of the technical implementation of arranging transports of Jews. I have expressed that position in document number 640, which is in the hands of the prosecution." And later in this page, on this page, the concentration and seizure of Jews in Hungary occurred upon instructions by the Hungarian Ministry of the Interior and was done by the Hungarian Gendarmerie.
Befehlshaber der Sicherheitspolizei und des SD in Ungarn, Standartenführer Geschke, eingegriffen.
Page 4, last passage at the bottom. When difficulties arose, the commander of the security police and the SD in Hungary, Standartenführer Geschke, also intervened. Geschke, G-E-S-C-H-K-E.
Der Reichsbevollmächtigte
Now
für Ungarn,
page 5 on top.
hat bei Planung und Durchführung der Judendeportationen keine Rolle gespielt. Ich werde dazu nachher die Dokumente vorlegen, die das Gegenteil zeigen.
On top of page 5, first paragraph, Wesenmayer, the Reich Plenipotentiary in Hungary, played no role at all in the planning and execution of the deportations of Jews. This is the quote, but I shall present other documents proving the opposite.
In den ersten Monaten seiner Tätigkeit Anregungen gegeben und ist initiativtätig geworden.
And I quote from the document again. It is my view that he did give some initiative in the first months of his activity and was more and more active by taking initiative later on. I come now to another passage on page 6 at the top.
Auf Weisung und auf diplomatischer Ebene die für die Deportierungen entscheidenden Verhandlungen mit der ungarischen Regierung geführt.
It is my view that the Reichsplenipotentiary in Hungary conducted the decisive negotiations for deporting the Jews on a diplomatic level according to instructions which he had.
Dann auf Seite 8.
Then I wish to quote from page
In der
8,
Mitte.
in the middle of the page.
Ich bin der festen Überzeugung, dass für die Durchführung der Judendeportation aus Ungarn die jeweilige ungarische Regierung der entscheidende Faktor war. Über das Endziel der Deportationen war die ungarische Regierung wohl nicht unterrichtet.
עמוד 8 באמצע.
I am firmly convinced that the various Hungarian governments were the responsible and decisive factors for the implementation of the deportations of Jews from Hungary. However, the Hungarian government probably did not know what the final destination of these transports was. And then the paragraph before last on the same page.
Der Aussonderung fremder Juden in Ungarn niemals Schwierigkeiten gemacht. Seine Dienststelle oder er selbst haben mir wunschgemäß jeweils die Daten der Transporte mitgeteilt.
בתחום משימותיי אשר היה
In the sphere of my functions,
מן הכלל את היהודים הזרים בהונגריה,
which was to separate Jews of foreign nationality from other Jews in Hungary, in this sphere I never had any obstacles created by Eichmann.
או הוא עצמו
His office, or he himself, would always tell me from time to time what the dates of the coming deportations were.
בעמוד 9 הפסקה השנייה.
Now page 9, second paragraph.
Es handelt sich dabei um die sogenannten Schutzpässe, hat Eichmann nicht sabotiert. Den Absatz bis unten, Fotokopie mir soeben von der Anklage vorgezeigt wurde, halte ich aufrecht.
כל הפסקה האמצעית הזאת,
The entire second section of this page, page 9, it begins with the words, Eichmann did not sabotage, but also did not welcome the protective measures. That is to say, what were called at that time protective passports. And then, as I said, the rest of the paragraph ending with the words, the photostatic copy which I have just been shown by the prosecution.
Dann auf Seite 10, der Absatz unten beginnt, ich halte Eichmann zwar für den verantwortlichen Leiter seiner Dienststelle in Budapest, aber nicht für den Mann, der initiativ und maßgebend von sich aus auf seinem Sachgebiet tätig gewesen ist oder werden konnte. Dann bis sechstletzte Zeile, den ihm gestellten Auftrag gerecht zu werden.
הפסקה השלישית והאחרונה בעמוד 10.
Then the third and last paragraph on this page 10, it begins with the words, I do think that it was Eichmann who was the responsible officer in charge of his office in Budapest, but he was not that man who could use his initiative and decision in this field, or who could have used them. And then the rest of this passage until we get to the sixth line from the bottom, ending with the words to fulfill his duty as properly as he could. Then one important point which I still want to single out at the bottom of page 6.
Die in Nürnberg abgegeben worden sind. Der Zeuge sagte zu Folgendes.
In this section, we find important information, I think, for the evaluation of affidavits given by people in the Nuremberg case.